Good morning. This is your 8:15 daily operations weather briefing, starting off with some milder conditions, more seasonable conditions this morning. Temperature-wise, do have a slight breeze starting to pick up out of the south-southwest and seeing abundant high clouds around the area. Overall, expecting a fairly seasonable day ahead. We will see winds on the increase with likely chance of a wind advisory being issued by late morning and continuing through the remainder of the working hours today and for much of the next 24 hours. We'll also see clouds on the increase, and we'll have a front approaching the area later this evening. It's going to bring a very slight chance of maybe an isolated sprinkle, but should just pass by as a dry front with some cooler conditions moving in behind it. Take a look at the current surface analysis. We can see area of low pressure off to the northwest over the Great Lakes. That's going to be tracking east-northeastward, staying north of our area, but this front will be the front that drops through the region. As we get later in the day, we can see that pressure gradient tightening with high pressure to our south. That's going to turn those winds and keep those winds more southwesterly ahead of the front, so helping to bring in some slightly milder air, but we'll see those breezy conditions as mentioned as we move through the day today. Current conditions this morning, we have a few clouds at 20,000 feet and broken deck at 25,000 feet. Winds out of south-southwest at 11 knots. Temperature 36 degrees. Relative humidity is at 85%. Current visible satellite shows those high clouds streaming through the area. We do have some thicker cloud cover off to the north and west, and we do expect that to drop into the area as we get later in the morning and into the afternoon. Likely seeing a ceiling right around 12,000 feet as we get later in the morning and into the afternoon time frame. We'll look at the European model here for what we can expect as we move through the day today. As mentioned, dry conditions expected through today outside of a very slight chance of a sprinkle late this evening, which we'll take a look at momentarily. But otherwise, just seeing breezy conditions with this tighter pressure gradient and those clouds building in ahead of this front as it moves through the area. We'll see as we get past the 8 p.m. time frame, the boundary will start to push over the area. You can see some light precip mainly 2 points north of Wallops. That's really going to amount to mainly just a light sprinkle, maybe a light shower, points north, and very slight chance we see any activity at all here locally at Wallops. That front pushes through, we'll see those winds shifting out of the northwest and will remain on the breezy side on the backside of this front, with cooler conditions dropping into the area for our Thursday. We're back down to below average temperatures as we move through the day on Thursday, but we'll see breezy conditions continue as well. So very chilly for our Thursday, but we'll see plenty of sun as we move through the day. And as we go into the overnight time frame, we will see clouds on the increase once again, as we'll have another system approaching the area. A very weak system and dry system will be approaching the area as we get late in the day on Friday. As you can see here, some of that precip showing up on the western part of the map here. It does look like we will see a slight chance of maybe some light rain, maybe even some light snow. That looks to be late in the day and more so into the evening time frame on Friday, most likely after the close of business, as this system does look fairly weak at this time and fairly dry, so not expecting much in the way of precip with this system at this time, but we'll be keeping an eye on that as we move towards the end of the week. So looking at the 24-hour weather risk chart for today, we do have the risk colors indicated here for the elevated wind conditions, as we do have, as mentioned, a likely chance of seeing a wind advisory later this morning, and at the very least we will even more so likely see it as we get into the afternoon time frame. Expect those winds out of the south-southwest to southwest as we move through the day today. We'll see peak gusts up around 26 knots late this morning, then increasing to around 30 knots as we get into the later portion of the afternoon and first part of the evening. Sustained winds will peak around 15 to 20 knots when there's for that late afternoon time frame as well. So starting off with that orange risk, increasing to a red risk, and then keeping an orange risk as we move through the next 24 hours, with those winds staying up around the 25 knot threshold ahead of that boundary, and then just behind that boundary with that wind shift, expecting some breezy conditions to continue We'll see our high temperature around 48 degrees today, so just slightly below average. We'll see, as mentioned, those ceilings building in around 12,000 feet. We'll see some lower ceilings as we move through the overnight time frame with some overcast skies at times before the front comes through and clears much of that cloud cover out of here. But we'll see temperatures back down around 33 degrees, so fairly seasonable to start the day on Thursday, but won't see those temperatures rebound much. Tide's looking normal today, and as mentioned for Thursday, only going to see the high up around 40 degrees for our Thursday. Also have an orange risk for that wind advisory criteria, so expecting a pretty chilly and breezy day for Thursday, but we'll see much partly cloudy to mostly sunny conditions. Clear to start the night Thursday night with clouds on the increase ahead of that next system, but we'll see a chilly night with a low around 26 degrees. But green conditions expected for our weather risk Thursday as well as into Friday, with mostly cloudy and chilly conditions continuing. Not much in the way of wind for our Friday. We'll see our high up around 41 degrees. As mentioned, very slight chance we see some light rain or snow late in the forecast period here. But again, it looks to be more likely during the evening time frame if it is to occur. Still some uncertainty with the dryness and fairly weak nature of that system approaching as we get into the day on Friday. So that wraps up the 8:15 daily operations weather briefing. We'll be back again at 10 a.m. to take a look at the extended forecasts. Enjoy your morning.